Hello, everybody. Yomi Jegede, good morning. Shegun Fatumo, Nkiro Jimadu, Eric Osadolo, Popola Luwatosi, Obina Ofoshuku, Kehinde Agoro, Oluwaseyi, Daniel Shoma, Brenda Williams, Olayinka Seun, Matthias, Stella Nuhu, Glory Baye, Victoria Otama, Nikki Christian, Konfiye, Nkiri Ojimadu, Okay Babatunde, Delphine Fombi, Boma Benita, Adeleke Adeniyi, T.Y. Moore. Welcome everyone. Jeanette Ata Yeshe, Vladimir Kirishenka, Yetunde Awolesi, Akomolafe Julius, Olaniyi Dada, Koyejo Oduola, Akinfe Samuel, Bobo, Daniel Madu, Tena, Anna Musi, Jot Idowu, Kimani Francis, Shi Sandra, Shine Ihenasho, Stella Nuhu, Francie Lucero, Fumi Jaboda, Adedamola Moronkeji, Shioma is here. Blessings to you, Kunle Ashojo, Natasha Richards, Christy De Grace. My name is Christiane. I want to talk to you. Okay, you want to talk to me? Then you've got to write to me. If you want to talk to me, you've got to write to me. My email is pastor@godembassy.org. 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 So God Embassy is one word, .org. Pastor@godembassy.org. So you need to write me there, and then I will reply you, and we'll find out if you can talk to me or not. Because I need to hear your problem, I need to hear your issues, I need to know whatever you want to talk to me about, and then I will tell you if it's just enough to write to you or to write to me, or you will indeed need to talk to me. Shigo, Wilfred, Ojekwa Israel, Julia Fortune, Hope Osarity, and here we go. Now, well, like we say, we have to follow our tradition before we start the lesson, the class today. Let's go and share the link. Let's go share the link. Please go look for your share button, and let's share the message as fast as possible. And don't just share it, don't just press the share button. And it's easy, just look for the share button and press it. But while you are pressing it, please make sure you write something. Write something to let people know what you are about to watch, or how important this is, and how important this is to you, and how important this is to them. Let people know if they need to watch it and why they need to watch it. So I will encourage you not just to share the button, but write something as well. And also I want to appreciate all those people who have done one thing or the other to invite people to the platform. So if you have called people, or you have done the video, or you have done an article to invite people here, that is great, because people need to know more. More people need to be blessed. I mean, it's going to be kind of selfish if we know what we are receiving here and we don't share it with other people, we don't give people the opportunity to know what is happening here and what they could receive. So thank you to those people who have done their video and those people who have done the article. If you have not yet done it, we have an hashtag prepared to do a news feed for us. So there is it. And I would like all of you to write it if you don't mind, or some of you to write it. Hashtag Pastor Sunday Live. You see, P is big, S is big, and L is big. So those are capital letters in the beginning of every word, but every word is together. Hashtag Pastor Sunday Live. That's what you will need to write each time you are writing your article or you are writing anything. You are referring to Pastor Sunday or referring to this platform. Not now when you are sharing. When you are sharing now, that's okay. But when you want to invite people, when you want to talk about this article or what God is doing for you or how your life is being changed, or when you are doing your own video, that's one thing you want to put there. Hashtag Pastor Sunday Live. Okay. Now we're ready to go. I hope you are ready to go. Did you notice the topic for today? Well, the topic of today, of course, we are continuing the topic that we started this week, and that is the topic of problems. So we keep on talking about problems today, and the topic of today is stop and measure your life. Stop and measure your life. Stop and measure your life. Now, that is a very instructive topic. That's a very instructive topic right there. The first word in that title is stop. Yes. I want you to think about that word, and I want you to think on that word. The word is stop. The word is stop. So, here we go. Stop means stop. Stop does mean stop. Stop doing what? Stop running about. We all need to learn not just to run. We all need to learn sometimes to stop as well. To stop and do assessment of our lives. Stop means shut some things down. Learn to find time and opportunity to just shut things down and to just say, okay, let's stop it. You see, even if you don't solicit for attention, even if you are not looking for attention, even if you are not looking for noise and for frivolity and vanity, they surround you anyway. Vanity surrounds us all the time. Frivolity surrounds us all the time. And just activities. You are all in the midst of noise, activities, and just actions. Things just going on all around us all the time. And it is wisdom to just learn to pause, to press the pause button. Just pause or just stop. Stop it. Just, especially this is especially difficult for ladies, women, and I feel for women this time, and I feel for women especially when it comes to this topic. The only woman is going to be easy for are women who actually don't have children, women who are not married. So if you are a woman who is not married, good for you, because then you'll be able to apply this truth. Or if you're a woman that is married but who is already past the age of child, you don't have small children, then it's good for you as well. You might be able to cope. You might be able to carry out this instruction. But the bottom line is that if you are a young woman, or you are a mother and a young mother, or you have young children, or who are going to school, who are going to high school or primary school, or who are in the kindergarten, that is not going to be not going to be easy for you to stop, because just the whole atmosphere of being a mother on its own, just the whole rowdiness and noise and distraction of running about with the kids, especially when you have more than one child, it's just like unbelievable to even think of stopping. Most of you have heard me talk about my times of solitude that I go out every month to go and be with the Lord. I mean, I couldn't even suggest that to my wife, even though I would suggest the same thing to everybody in the church. But I understand that people who have children, especially who have school children or young children, that it's almost impossible for them to stop, and it's so sad. And that's why personally I will propagate the idea of having helpers or house helps, or making enough money to be able to afford to give your children out somewhere, to some people, or to have some people to help you in the house. Okay, I'm just discovering now that some people are congratulating Brenda Williams, Brenda Williams for her birthday. So I'm just saying that congratulations, Brenda. Congratulations. Brenda has been a very consistent person on our platform here. I want to use the opportunity to join her and congratulate her for her birthday. And we release the grace of God and the favor of God upon you, Brenda. We pray that God will visit you and He will, cause your life to move to a new level and a new height. Even through this platform, in Jesus' name, that you will go higher in your life, in your destiny, discover yourself, and you begin to live a fulfilled life from this time on, in Jesus' name. So, like I said, the title of this message is Stop. Stop and measure your life. And I'm just saying that for women to be able to stop, either they have to have a very understanding husband, such that their husband will agree to stay with the kids for some time. Because how do you stop? It's one thing to stop, just say, okay, I stop today and I don't want to do anything today. But the kind of stop that I need will demand for you to have at least 1 day or 2 days, maybe 3 days, better still. You might need to have at least a few days off just by yourself when you are just alone and you are able to listen to many messages. Maybe you just go to a solitude place. You go and go into solitude, go listen to a lot of messages, go and review a lot of these messages once again. Go and listen to messages on your calling. Go and listen to messages on the kingdom of God. Go and reassess your life. Go and go and update yourself, and go and and answer some critical questions about your life. And that's what I needed to do about 20 years ago, when I started really living by plans. But I needed to stop, and I went away for a week, and I needed to listen to messages about reassessing your life, and so I read books. I just to put my life together, and I planned my life for the next 20 years at that point. So the first planning I did was planning my life for the next 20 years. It was also like funny to me. It was like incredible. It was like, it's possible. How will I do this? But I discovered that the only way for you to be able to get your life together and plan your life for the purpose for which you have been called and for which you've been created is to stop. Everything has to start with stopping. You've got to stop before you could begin to move. And that's what Jesus meant when he said, if anybody wants to go against, if anybody wants to build a house or a tower, that he must first of all stop. He must stop and start by doing assessment, analysis of his resources. So the same thing with life. If you really want to be effective, because Jesus said otherwise you will begin to build and will not be able to finish it. So if you want to live your life in an effective way, if you want to build your life and make it impactful and meaningful, and you don't just want to be you don't just want your life to be chaotic, but you want your life to be meaningful, to be productive, to be goal-oriented, to be purposeful, and to have results that will make you proud and that will make God proud of you, you need to stop. You need to stop, like Jesus advised us. You need to stop and make analysis of your life. You need to measure your life. And I'm going to give you some measurement today, and I'm going to give you some standards of effectiveness that you could use to actually measure your life, that you could use to measure how you've lived so far and how you're going to live going forward. And so Jesus' words are very strategic, and they're very wise words, and they're very needful words. So, because it says otherwise you'll begin to build and you'll not be able to finish it, and you'll be full of shame, you'll be disgraced, you'll be ashamed, and all that. So, but Jesus was using that as an allegory and as a metaphor. But because, building a tower is nothing compared to building life. So if we need to stop when it comes to building towers so that we're not disgraced and we're not messed up, talk to me what we need to do when we're talking about life. How much more important building a life is than building a tower or going to war with another country. So that was an allegory. It doesn't mean that you have to go to war, but it's talking about anything you want to do, anything you want to build, in the process of starting any project, in the process of doing any enterprise. I mean, the Bible tells us as well in the book of Proverbs that the wise starts every enterprise with counsel, or with knowledge. So if you are really smart, if you are really wise, you have to stop first, go gather knowledge, go educate yourself, go upgrade yourself, get all the knowledge that is necessary, and get counsel. Seek counsel with God, seek counsel with understanding, with research, with yourself. Gather your life together. What kind of impact would you like to make with your life? What kind of result would you like your life to have? What kind of, how would you like to end your life? What kind of result would you like to have at the end of your life? And even after you are gone, what kind of result do you want to have? How do you want to see your children when you are gone? How do you want the memory about you to be when you are gone? How do you want the world to remember you? How do you want your memory, your legacy to be? What kind of life do you want to live now? What do you need to do for that right now? And all these kind of things are absolutely necessary. They're absolutely necessary for us to become who we are really meant to be, and to really live an effective life. So this week when we are talking about problems, this is all connected. So like I said, the first thing we need to do is to stop. And my question to all of you is that, have you learned to stop really? Have you really learned to stop? How often do you stop? How often do you just shut everything down and just say, you know what? I need a break. I need a break for myself. I need a break, not just a break to sleep, not just a break to recoup your energy physically, not just a break to rest and to take some time out to rest, but to do something much more purposeful, to do something much more deeper. Take a break to analyze your life. Take a break to measure your life. And have you ever asked yourself how what is the measurement of your life in terms of how many years you already lived and how that is doing? Are you satisfied with the result you are having right now with how many years you have spent on the earth? Many of you are in your 30s or you are in your 40s. Some of you are in your 50s. So if you have lived so long on planet Earth, what is the measurement of your life? What's the measurement of your life? How will you measure that life that you have lived so far? How will you measure it in the sense, in terms of satisfaction? Are you really satisfied? What are the numbers you will give yourself? What are the pass marks you have? And will you document? Can you try to document some of your is it limestone or what do you call it? Milestone. Can you document some of your milestones? Can you document some of your milestones? Can you document your milestones? What are the track records you have? What are the track records that will make you to be proud that you have been around for 30 years of your life? What are the track records that will make you to be proud that you've made enough impact? What are the track records you have? What are the results you could present yourself with and be satisfied that God has noticed and that you will present God with and present your children with, that you have lived really for something worthwhile? Or you are just running, or you are just busy running, maybe you are just busy running at a scatter. You are just busy, doing what the whole world is doing. And what is the whole world doing? The whole world is engaging in the exercise of vanity. The whole world is engaged in the exercise of vanity. The whole world is just, they're just engaged, busy with emptiness. Just running upside down and up and down. And it's like the most important thing for the world is just to run. It doesn't matter where you are running to. It doesn't matter what direction you are going. It doesn't matter what destination you arrive at. It's just about running. Everybody just running at a scatter. That's what the whole world is about right now. That's what everything is like. So you just follow the news or the things that are going on around you, and you do the same thing. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. But how do I propose that you live? How do I propose that you live? First, you need to stop. You need to stop and stop that survival instinct. Stop that instinct to just try to make a living and push yourself and run up and down and go to work and make money and make more money, and stop and analyze your life. So how do I propose you to do, to live afterward? How do I propose for you to analyze? How do I propose for you to measure your life? What are the measurements? And because if we want to measure life, we must have some metrics. We must have some standards. So, but the thing I want you to measure is the standard of effectiveness of your life. And let me just, before I start to give you the standards and the measurement and the requirements that you could use to measure your life, let me first of all ask you, not just, somebody is saying the rat race. Yes, we need to stop the rat race, but and then measure. But before you measure, let me ask you this question. I want you to answer two questions in one. To give me one answer to two questions. The two questions are, but you need one answer. Just give me one answer. The two questions are, how old are you right now? And how will you assess your life? How will you assess the effectiveness of your life so far? How old are you? And what is the assessment? What is the measurement? What is the result? What kind of measurement? What kind of assessment will you give yourself? If you want, you can write some things. If you want, you can write some things. Or you might not write. You could write to yourself or for yourself. But that's the starting point. And that will help you to know that, do you really need to stop or not for real? And do you really need to measure your life all over again or not? So how old are you? And what past mark will you give yourself? How will you measure your life? How you measure the effectiveness of your life. What have you done here so far? And how far has that been? Has that been the kind of result that you dream of having? Is that the kind of result that you dream to have? Is that the kind of result you want to have? Is that the kind of life that you like to live? Okay, Nkiru says, I am 44 years old and I give myself 1% pass mark. Just 1%, not even 10% yet, but 1. That's very objective and very strict to yourself. That's very strict to yourself. So you have potential to still maximize your life to the tune of 99%. So if you have just only done 1% of your capacity of what you could have done, of what you have the potential to do, it means you still have 99% potential to live and to maximize, which means you've got to increase your speed. It means you've got to increase your speed, and it means you've got to be very organized and to plan out your life and to live purposefully, to begin to live purposefully. Okay, Boma Benita said, I need to remeasure my life all over again. Noel says, I'm 30 plus. Yes, I need to measure. Not fulfilled, but very hopeful. And Pearl is making a very good point. She says, stop measuring your life through the eyes of the world. Those are the wrong eyes that will lead you the wrong path. Yeah, and that's what this whole thing is about. I'm going to give you the measurement, what you could measure your life with. And that's why we are talking about this topic under the problem topic series. Cecile says, I'm 40. I cannot answer that question. Okay. Sheenie says she's 31 and she sincerely doesn't think that she's done much. She gives herself 2/10. That's like 20%, right? Danielle says she's doing great for her age, but she's rushing to do more. Taiwo Abuaba says she's 31 and she realized she has not started yet. Elsie Dennis says she's 50. She's 50 or he's 50 or she's 50. I don't know if maybe that's a man. He's 50 and he believes he's living his purpose. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. So Gladys says she's 44 and she knows she has not done much. Justine says she's 50 and she can give herself 5%. Bea says she's 54. I mean, he said he's 54 and trying to do more. Okay, well, Davida says she's 48. She says she's asked 98% to go. So she's giving herself 2%. She's giving herself 2%. So Triumpha says he's 39 and is giving himself 10% satisfaction rate. Well, that's why I'm here. Elizabeth is saying mine is 10%. I need to work a lot. I'm 27, but she still needs 90% more to go to catch up with her life. Augustus says 26, and I have nothing to show for it yet. Well, let's do this. Stop and measure your life. If the person who says that he is whatever age and is satisfied with his life, is living a purposeful life, that is the only person that is ready to die. that is the only person that is ready to die right now. Because if you are satisfied with how you are living with your life, it means that you know, you are living for purpose. You are supposed to be affecting the world one way or the other. If you say you are satisfied with your life and with what you are doing, there is just no way that you are, we should have seen your mark in the sand of history. We should have seen your impact. We should all be hearing about you. If you are really living your full life, there is no way you would live your full life and then you still don't have, nobody knows about it. There's just no way you'll be living your full life and you are not making some slides, some landmarks, some real strides in your generation. So, but if you are satisfied, that's what matters. It doesn't matter what we think. If you are satisfied with your life, I'm happy for you. But for those who know in their heart that they are not satisfied, for those who know that they have not started yet, for those who know that they are underperforming, well, this measurement or this advice I'm going to give you might help you. You remember you were talking this week on the series of problems, and I said we are all created to resolve one problem or the other. So if you say you are satisfied with your life, then you must be able to tell me what are the problems your life has been able to provide solutions for. So if you say you are satisfied, then you must tell me, then you are telling me that you are ready to die right now. And when you die, there will be a whole bunch of people or a whole, spheres of life that will be grateful to you that you live. That, it's just like saying Steve Jobs died, and at the point that he died, he was ready to die. And even though he died of cancer, but he said that was the greatest thing that ever happened to him, because that actually propelled him to even do more. But he has left a mark. He would never be forgotten anymore. History would never forget it, because he has been able to accomplish the purpose for which he came to the earth. He has carried out an assignment. So the idea is not just about living. So the idea is not just to be here, to have been here on the earth. Just to have been here on the earth, that is nothing. That is not it's not a purpose. Nobody will be created and nobody will be sent here to the earth just to be present, just to say, I was here as well. Just to give a mark, just to, mark the journal and say that, oh, I was on earth as well. I was here for 30 years. I didn't do anything. Nobody knows about it, but I was here. That is not the reason why you were sent, and nobody was sent to just make the numbers. No, you are not sent to the world for such a purpose. If everybody that is ever created, everybody that is ever sent to this world was sent here for some specific purpose, for some specific goals and missions on earth. So if you are given life, and if you are given birth to, and if you are living today, it is because there are some problems that were supposed to be solved by your life. Your life is supposed to be lived in exchange for some problems that are solved. Your life is supposed to be spent. Like I said the other day, your life is constantly being poured out. It's being poured out. It must be poured out in exchange for some solved problems. Like I said, your life is like this, constantly being poured out, every minute, every second. It must be converted into solutions to some problems. It must be, your life is going out anyway, it's becoming empty, you say. So if you are 30 or 40, it's as empty as this. But the thing that is poured out must be converted into some solutions, into some solved problems. If your life is not being converted, and we are not seeing where it has been converted to, or what problems or what solutions have been converted to, then you have just wasted life. You have just poured out your life for emptiness, or into emptiness, into vanity. That's why people go to hell, and that is why God condemns people. So you have just wasted life in that case. But if you have been pursuing God, if you have been, doing the will of God for your life, if you have been resolving the problems and the situations that God sent you here for, then we will see the result. You will be able to show a whole segment of life where you have affected, or you'll be able to point to how many people have been, whose lives have been, bettered, improved, or whose problems have been resolved, or whatever. As things must have been changed thanks to your life. So if you don't have that, it means that you might have been a failure or a disappointment. And nobody would like to think of himself as a failure, of course. But for you not to be a failure, you don't just have to say, I'm talking positive. Oh, I'm not a failure. Oh, I'm not a failure. Oh, I'm not going to be a failure. It's not just about positive confession. You must go beyond positive confession into actually, making something happen so that you are not a failure. You must actually walk towards not being a failure. You must walk towards it. And the only way for you to walk towards a fulfilling life so that your life is not a waste and it's not a failure is to actually resolve those problems that you are sent here to resolve. It's for you to actually discover those problems that you are supposed to resolve and resolve them. So, number one, let me give you some criteria on how to measure your life. Like I said, stop. First of all, you stop. So what are the criteria to use? First of all, the number one criteria is you must know, like I said yesterday, you must have an inventory of problems that are in your heart, or situations, or some promised lands or spheres of influence that are in your heart. What are the burdens that are in your heart? What are the burdens that God has put in you to resolve? What are the problems? Make a list of problems in your country, in the world, that maybe the top 100 problems or the top 20 problems, then reduce it to the top 10 that are your burden. But out of that top 10 problems that are the burden of your life and of your heart, you reduce them to the top 3. So the top 3 problems that are bothering you in life as those problems that you want to address, so those ones that you want to focus on. So you could start with number 1, number 2, number 3, or you could start with number 3, number 2, number 1. But you must have a list of issues that you want to resolve. And number 2 thing that you want to do to measure your life is this: make a list of your skills. Make a list of your skills and your potentials. Ask yourself, what are the things I can do? So maybe you can read, you can write, write them down to the mundane things. I can cook, I can dress, all kind of things that you can do. I can preach, I can, I'm a professional, I can do this, I can do that. Anything that you see that you can do, make a whole big list of them. And then ask yourself the next question: how many of these skill sets could I use to bring me to my purpose? How many of these skill sets will actually help me to attain the goal and the purpose that I have burdened for, or that I feel God has called me or created me for? Then ask yourself the next question: how many of these skill sets am I already using? How many of these skill sets am I already maximizing? The next thing you want to do analysis of those skill sets that you have potentially, and tell yourself the truth. Which ones have been well developed and which ones are yet to be developed? Which ones have been well developed and which ones are yet to be developed? Of course, you know what to do next. If you know that you have these potentials or you have these skill sets, but you have not developed them, you know what to do next. What to do next is naturally to go and see if, find out those ones that you have not developed. See how many of them. It's not important for you to just go and develop all of them. No. find out how many of them will help you to move faster or to get to your destination faster. So find out those ones of those skill sets that will facilitate your fulfillment or your fulfilling of purpose faster. So then zero in on those ones and then go and develop yourself in those areas. Okay. Those are the more practical things to do. Let me give you another set of measurement. That is, what I spoke about right now is measuring your potential, the things that you could use to actually fulfill yourself. Now, let me give you another set of questions that you could use to measure yourself. If you really want to live an effective life, and I'm so sorry, I feel so sad right now because I'm thinking many of these people have been Christians for so long and they've been in churches. They've been taught that the only thing they really need to do is just to keep on coming to church, come to church every Sunday, come to church every Sunday. And many of them have been going to those churches for years, and I don't know what they've been taught. I don't think the churches have been really effective to teach people how to maximize life, and that is so sad. That is so sad. If the churches have not, people just waste their lives. I mean, years of their lives, just being religious, and they don't even know the difference. They don't know that, just going to church and doing church activities is being religious. It's not being effective, and it's not being productive. I feel so much sorrow. I think even the way we do church all over the world has to change. I think the way church is done have got to change totally. Church has got to be reshaped and refashioned to bring out the best in people and to bring out effectiveness in people, rather than just activities and religious, just mundane things, doing the same thing over again and dreaming of having different results. That's what people call the definition of craziness, madness. That you are doing the same thing, going to church every day, just going and coming, and still thinking and hoping that you have some miracles one way or the other, that something will happen. That's just madness. Religion is a bad thing. Religion is a bad thing. Religion has just been destroying people. It's so sad. It's so sad. But I think we have to fix that in Africa, especially. We need to fix that in Africa. At least the Western people don't respect religion too much. They don't respect church too much. So they do go about their lives, fulfilling their lives. But church people in Africa respect church and religion too much. And church has got to be reformed. We've got to have a different understanding of church. Church has got to be reorganized and remodeled to bring effectiveness in people. Anyway, let me give you another set of questions that will help you to measure your life better. Number one, to measure the effectiveness of your life. That is why now I'm coming to the core of this message, why I am giving this message under problems. Measure your life by whose pain you have managed to remove. Whose pain has your life removed? So far, you have lived so far. Where are the people? What is the list of people? How many people you have managed to wipe their tears away? That you are the one who has removed their pains. Whose pains have you managed to remove with your life? In fact, as a matter of fact, has your life been dedicated to removing people's pains? Has your life been dedicated to removing people's tears? How dedicated are you to that? How much of that is your life doing on a daily basis? Whose pain have you dedicated your life to removing? What mechanisms have you put in place to remove people's pains? What system have you put in place to remove people's pain? Because removing pain is also another variation of solving problems. Even the fact that we are on this platform right now, it is solving our problem. It's removing pain of communication breaches. Even the fact that we're using iPad, iPhone, those is removing our pain of not being able to interact. So whose pain has your life been devoted to removing? And what are the systems that are functioning for you, that you have put in place to help you actually, obliterate the pains of others? Number 2, how effective have you been in solving those problems for which your life was given to you? You know the list. You can make a list of the problems that you know you are supposed to solve with your life. How effective have you been in resolving those problems? That's why we need to stop. We all need to stop. We need to pause and answer these questions. If you don't, then you'll just be running eta-sketa on the earth, and you'll just be missing. Sometimes you hit the target, sometimes you miss the point, sometimes you miss the target, sometimes you hit it. You're just living like a chaotic life of emptiness and frivolity. So stop and measure your life, my dear. We need to do it. We all need to do it. And you don't just do it once in a lifetime. You need to practice it regularly. Always stop and measure your life. Maybe on yearly basis, maybe on quarterly basis, or maybe on by annual basis. But you must stop constantly to measure your life and to see how much you are going, by plan. Next thing you want to use next measurement that you want to use to measure your life is make a list of the people that you have decided to pleasure with your life. Your life must pleasure. The fact that we're on this platform, Facebook, that is somebody who has created a system that we are using to pleasure each other, to bring pleasure into somebody's life. The fact that we were using our smartphone, that is somebody who has created a system that we use to bring pleasure to ourselves and to the pleasure of other people. The fact that I am coming to you is a medium of me, a system of bringing pleasure, pleasuring your life, pleasuring you. So who have you decided to pleasure with your life? Whose life have you decided to pleasure? What area of life, what people, what field of life have you committed yourself to bringing joy to, pleasure to? That's why I'm going back to Africa. I must go back to Africa. I will not leave this world the same. Africa will not remain the same. Before I leave this world, I will not leave this world with Africa being the state it is right now. I am going to set up a system. I'm going to put things in place that is going to pleasure the whole black race, the whole African people, all Nigerians. I'm going to live my life to put things in place to bring continuous, perpetual pleasure for them for the next hundreds of years, maybe thousands of years to come. I'm going to dedicate myself to pleasuring. I'm going to commit myself to pleasuring the poor people, the desperate people of our world. I'm going to dedicate myself to pleasuring people of this world in general, to bringing them to the source of eternal pleasure. I am going to do my best to remove the pain of my continent. But the way we've been taught and the way we've been deceived is as if it is only our pleasure that matters. I mean, it's totally against the Christian doctrine. Jesus left his pleasure in heaven, came here to be able to pleasure us. Jesus was so committed to pleasuring us that he gave his life for it. But we, instead of us living for the pleasure of others to bring joy and righteousness, peace, and joy to the life of others, we only want to bring it to our own lives. So egocentrism and selfishness has blinded us totally. And even the churches we have are, they are propagating this kind of doctrine, that it's only your joy that matters. It's only, what matters is your own pleasure. And so we are using God to get our own pleasure. We are using God to get our own joy. We are using God to build our own pleasure, our own mechanism of pleasure, self-pleasuring. And it is the same egocentrism that takes people to hell. Because when we come to give our lives to the Lord, what is supposed to happen is that we are supposed to reject ourselves, deny ourselves, so that we begin to live for God and for others. And the only commandment in the New Testament talks about love, loving God and loving others. That's why it says, who is my neighbor? It's about living for God and for your neighbor. So, you must answer yourself that question. This is your life that you have lived so far. This 30 years that you have lived, or these 20 years that you have lived, or these 40 years that you have lived, whose pain has it been committed to removing? Whose pain has it been dedicated to removing? Or whose pleasure has that life been committed to, and whose pleasure has it removed? I mean, has it given? Whose pleasure has it been committed to, and whose pleasure has it been lived for? Next point. This is so serious. You remember I've been telling you the whole week that nobody is here without a problem to resolve. That we are all created to resolve a problem on the earth. That we are all sent here to resolve a problem. Just like Bill Gates resolved the problem of having everybody to have a computer, personal computer. Steve Jobs' smartphones. Just like, Thomas Edison bulb in the house, electricity. Just like, Isaac Newton mechanism, cars and everything that we have, industry. Just like everybody has an assignment, there is a problem that we're all supposed to resolve. Just like our eyes is created to resolve problem, our nose created to resolve problem, our hands created to resolve problem, our ears created to resolve problem, our legs created to resolve problem, our mouth created to resolve problems. We are all created to resolve problems. There are problems that you are sent to this world to resolve. There are assignments that you are sent here to carry. Now, the question that I have next is this. And I want you to think on this. This touches my heart, making me emotional. The next criteria, the next parameter I want to give you is, whose tears have you decided to eliminate? Whose tears have you decided to devote your life to? Whose tears have you decided to put a stop to? Can you imagine how many women are crying all over the world? Can you imagine how many mothers are weeping every day? Can you imagine how many children? Can you imagine how many homeless people? Can you imagine how many poor people? Whose tears, whose sorrow, whose tragedy have you dedicated your life to stopping? It could be through technology, it could be through invention, it could be through agriculture, it could be through love, it could be through smile, it could be through production of clothes, it could be through anything. It could be through anything you have the gift for. Whose tears, whose sorrow have you decided to put a stop to put an end to? Whose tears affect you in the first place? Whose tears are a concern to you? Whose tears are your burden? Does anybody's tear even bother you apart from your own? Have we not become numbed to other people's tears? Have we not become dumb to other people's tears? Have we not become emotionless? Have we not lost our heart, our soul, our feelings when it comes to other people's pain and tears and sorrow? How do you measure your own life? Do you measure your life just by the car you use? Do you measure your life just by the house you have? Do you measure your life by how beautiful your children dress? Are you measuring your life by the mundane things of this world that will pass away anyway? Are you just measuring your life by the things that will be burnt in fire anyway? All these things will be destroyed in fire. But Jesus said we should measure our lives by the eternal values. That's why he said that we should gather our treasures in heaven. Measure your life with something that will last beyond this life. Measure your life by something that will last beyond the physical, mundane things of life. Measure your life with something that will outlast you. Measure your life with something that will be counted to your credit in eternity. Measure your life with eternal values. Not just with some mundane things that say, I have a good wife, a good husband, a good children, I go into a good school. Hey, give me a break. Give me a break. There are people crying in this world. There are people dying in this world. There are people helpless in this world. I mean, if you live in the West, you know what I'm talking about. If you live in the West and you have been to any third world country, you will discover that we are living in a very wicked world. Nobody really cares about the third world. Nobody really cares about anybody's pain. Nobody really cares about anybody's tears at the end of the day. Because if you have been to any third world country, you will just know that we are all very wicked. We all care only about our comforts and our own joy and our own pleasure at the end of the day. It's a wicked world. And when people say, why did God create hell? You know? When you see why people live on a daily basis here in the West or in Europe or in America, and you compare that with what is happening all over the earth, you think some people are really concerned about other people's tears? Next point that I want you to use to measure your life is, whose joy is your priority? Apart from your family, whose joy is important to you? Is it important to you to give people joy? Is it important to you? Is it anything to you to live a life that will just give people joy, that will make people happy? Whose joy is a burden to you? Whose joy is a concern to you? Whose joy concerns you? Whose joy is important to you? Apart from egocentrism, apart from yourself and your immediate family, of course. Whose joy is your concern? What have you done? What mechanism do you put in place to really make sure that you bring that joy to those people? What are the mechanisms that you have put in place to really make sure that you wipe out the tears of those people around you? Or those people, you must have a burden. You must have a segment of the world. You must have a sphere of life. You must have an area of, human endeavor, or you must have a definition of people that you really want to touch with your life. You must have a way about some people that who really joy that you are concerned about, that you want to really bring that joy to. Some people are writing, I'm asking, whose joy is important to you? People are saying, my family and my friends. No, that's not what I mean. I'm not talking, whenever you are concerned only about you, your family, and your friends, Jesus said, what does it profit you? What does it profit you when you are only concerned about doing good to people who are good to you? When you are concerned only about, the joy and the happiness of your family? What profit? God said we are not rewarded for those kind of things. Jesus said you are not rewarded for that. You are only rewarded when you are truly concerned for living for others. That's why the story of the Good Samaritan was told in the first place. Jesus was telling us that your neighbor, your life should be dedicated to living a life to show love and concern for other people rather than your immediate family. So you must have a burden, you must have an assignment in your mind. You must be able to define the group of people, the category of people that you want to, whose joy is your concern, that whose joy is your priority. Of course, you are going to take care of your family. We are not talking about that's natural. That is instinctive. That is an instinct. Instinct to take care of your own, to cater for your own, to protect your own, and to, to bless your own people. But that is instinct. That is not Christian love. But Christian love, that's instinctive love. Even animals have that love of caring for their own. But Christian love is actually living for the larger good of people, of the whole world. That is what it means by love your neighbor as yourself. Next point. Next parameter that you could use to measure your life is who has succeeded thanks to you. Who has succeeded thanks to you? Or who has succeeded because of you? Where are the people who have succeeded? Okay, we're back. Sorry guys for that. The internet was frozen. So my question, the last question I was asking is, who has succeeded thanks to you? Who has succeeded thanks to you? Whose success have you dedicated your life to seeing? Measure your life by whose success you have succeeded in bringing about, in facilitating. Who have succeeded in fulfilling their purpose thanks to you. Who has succeeded in discovering God thanks to you. Who has succeeded in life, in their aspiration, in their goals, in their, in their dreams thanks to you. Whose success is your concern? Whose success is your concern? For whose success are you working apart from your own family and your own self? Who have you decided to help succeed in life? What sphere of life? What sphere of science? What are you going to use? What are the instruments? What are the mechanisms that you have put in place to help people succeed? And finally, whose life generally have you contributed to? Whose life have you improved? Or whose life are you committed to improve? Or what sphere of life, what area of life, what category of people is your life dedicated to improving? Or where or in whose life are you investing your own life? Or what area of life are you investing your life to improve? Well, that is why I call this message Stop and Measure Your Life. Stop and measure your life. I hope I've been able to make the point. I hope I've been able to communicate my point that we all need to stop and not just stop and not just keep on running around the world and just running at a skelter in vanity, but we actually need to stop and measure our lives. I hope you got something. If you have not yet shared the link to this message, you have it. You have the share button under your video somewhere or your timeline. Just go ahead and press the share button and make sure you write some things, write some words of encouragement for people to be able to know what to expect in this message. So write something and go share this message with yourself, so that I think all of you need to watch this message over and over again. So for you to be able to have opportunity to watch the message again, you will need to share it, and when you share it, it comes to your timeline, and then you'll be able to watch it anytime. And also, if you have not been doing anything to propagate this platform, please go ahead and write your own article. Go ahead and do your own video and do something to be able to let people be a partaker or be able to know that there is this opportunity for people to come here and learn free of charge. So if you have not yet done your own video or your own article to invite people to come and be listening to these messages, please, you can do it. When you do it, you need to write this hashtag Pastor Sunday Live, hashtag Pastor Sunday Live. So whenever you write your article or you do your own video, make sure you put hashtag Pastor Sunday Live, either in the beginning or in the end. Okay, here we go. Let me see what you are saying. Let me see your comments about this message. I hope this message has been a blessing to you. I hope you got something from the message. But let me see what you are writing. Let me see your comments. Let me see your comments. Let me see what you are writing. Noel says, I think I'm yet to actually major in one area. I carry 3 things at a time. Delphine Fombi said, this is so powerful. Ayilara Sheung said, what we are given is nothing compared to what we have been given. Yep. Rochelle White says, unfortunately, you never hear anything near to this in churches. The churches don't preach these things. And it's sad. It's sad. It's unfortunate. Shine Ihenasho said, so much practical truth is being hidden from the body of Christ. We need more of these kind of messages. God bless you, sir. Delphine says, yeah, unfortunately, Pastor, we give our lives to religion and corporate job, yeah. And we just lose our lives. We just waste it. Cecile says, Doctor, I'm crying right now. I understand your point of view very well now. Edwin and Mimi said, Pastor, no church teaches you that these are the things that God taught you and you are now teaching us. Abraham Great says, there is indeed a great need for reformation of the church. Pastor Kemi Onadipe said, yes, church has to bring the best out of people instead of just doing religion. Adeola Disu said, you are so right, sir. I'm really going to promote this session because a lot of people are not fulfilled and productive and just wondering when will their miracle come. Wow. Yeah, it's a good idea. I think it's not just Adeola that should promote this session. I think all of us should promote all these sessions, as a matter of fact. Marianne Abha says, that is why I never go to black churches. I go to everywhere God is going sometimes, and the Holy Spirit is leading me. Gladys Nwosu said, sometimes you go to church and get out of the church very sad. What a shame. Ojekwa, okay. Ojekwa Israel says, we are working on helping Christians go beyond the four walls of the church. Yeah, somebody, that might be your calling to help the churches really get this truth. Pearl David says, yeah, more grace, more anointing to a higher level. Thank you. Edwin says, Pastor, if you would not start church in Nigeria, then equip as many pastors as possible to do that. This matter is of great concern to me, as I said again and again. Yeah, I think what I would rather do is to equip pastors who are already doing some things. It doesn't from every denomination. I think it might be good for me to equip pastors and ministers who are already trying to do something and correct them and help them to do things properly. And if God will not lead me to start a church, I will just help the existing pastors to know how to do church properly. Beer in Style says he is crying right now. Thank God there is a change. Thank you, Pastor Sunday. Fumi Jeboda said, wow, this is so deep. I have to really catch up later and take notes and listen to this again and again. I think we all need to do that. We all need to come back and listen to this again. Ike Amadi High says, my life will be dedicated to resolving people's problems and alleviating their pain. Prudence Ugafo says, Pastor, I'm sobbing. I'm empty right now. It's for so much time wasted. Nothing to show for it. I'm crying. Yeah, we can always start again. You can always start again. Yeah. Delphine Fombi says, I will be back in Cameroon in 2020 to effect change, I'm sure. Onyeye Okoro said, this message is so practical. I have to go listen to it again. Ola Johnson said, have your life been dedicated to remove? Okay, just saying what I said. Samuel Sami says Jesus was so committed to pleasure in our lives to the point that he gave his life to us. Yeah, for us. Akomolafe Julius said, we need understanding of purpose and passion to do all this. Pastor, God will help you, sir, to touch the soil of Africa for God. Life is in bondage to religion here. God have mercy on us. Giselle says she's crying as well right now. Esco says, I came in so late and feel bad because this message is speaking to me a lot. Yeah, it's nothing bad about that. Just press the share button. Once you have pressed the share button, that it will come to your timeline and you can watch it as many times as you want to. Onyiye Okoro said, Nigerian churches have done so much harm than good. Shine Ihanasho said, when I show love to others, I'm showing love to God. That's the only way I can show God my sincere love for him. Anu said, living beyond self. I was created to solve a problem. Okay. Lara Shomoye said, this is real life evaluation. Rochelle White said, this is going to take some deep thinking. Bright Shibu says, thank you, Pastor. Today I'm reborn. It's not about me anymore, but all about God and others. Shashal Ubuntu says, I want to bring joy to the broken-hearted, those who are suffering because of injustice. Injustice due to wickedness of the rulers that led them to poverty, and poverty that led them to poor choices. Yeah, that's so good. Moronde says, whose life are you committed to change? We should stop living selfishly. We should lay down our lives for others. Emmanuel Ikeshi said, except we die, we cannot start to live. Ola Martin said, thank you, sir, for this message. It is life transforming. What we are giving have not scratched the surface yet, and the church has not helped either. God bless you so much, sir. Divine Saint says, I'm always happy to watch your program here. Thank you for pleasuring your life. Jesus, thank you for pleasuring your life to your children. Delphine Fombe, yes, Pastor, right timing for this message. Thank you so much, Pastor. You are absolutely awesome. This message is a 911 message, Pastor. This is it. I am ready for this race. Pastor, Africans in America need these messages. The mind slavery is just beyond imagination. Mary Yoro said, thank you, Pastor. It is my first time to watch you, and I'm very much blessed from Kenya. Denise says, thank you, Pastor, for the message. I really appreciate the time and effort you put into this segment. Christina Lampe said, I think that I have to come with an Embassy of God Church, to the Embassy of God Church to teach reformation in every area of life, to be taught reformation in every area of life, right? By the way, if you want to come to the Embassy of God Church, if you want to come here, we have a meeting, a conference, or a training coming on in November. It's called History Makers Training. It's between the 6th to the 12th of November. So if you want to come attend that program, we'll be happy to have you from the 6th to the 12th of November. you need to write to guest at godembassy.org. Guest, like guest visitor. GUEST at God Embassy, one word, godembassy.org. Just let us know you are coming. You get all the information from there. Shashal says, I will change the life of individuals, families, communities, nations by empowering them financially. I will influence and change the way things are being done. Christy Egwunye says, if the church was teaching this, we would not have become so selfish. My life must pleasure people. My passion is being kindled. Well, thank God, thank God. Well, it's been nice to be with all of you. I hope this message has been a blessing to you, and I'll be back